I couldn't wait to dig into Stamperia's The Owl House collection and make a mini album. So I'm going to show you the mini album I made and give you a sneak peek on what's coming up next. Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. I picked up The Owl's House from scrapbook.com. It's an 8 by 8 paper collection, 22 single-faced sheets, and obviously it had this beautiful owl natural outdoors theme and some inside pictures. I mean, look at this. Isn't that just gorgeous? The problem is it's so pretty. I have a hard time cutting into it. But I'm almost done. I have another project, maybe two, to make with what's left. So I'll use this for that project. So what I'm going to show you today is this really small mini album. Now the thing about Stamperia is it's so beautiful and it's hard to cut into it sometimes, but I did. I did, and I'm really happy with what I've made. So this is a 4.5 by 4.25 with a 1.5 inch spine mini album. It's got 4 pages. It's just a small little, maybe a lap book. You still could put photos in, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. I did cut out, this Santa is a fussy cut Santa, and I put him on this woodsy background. After I put that background on, I embossed with some clear embossing powder, with some iridescent embossing powder, and some white embossing powder, and then I added some stars that were in my stash. I also added some flocking. Have you ever heard of flocking? So I have, this is from Folk Art called Velvet Crush, and here's the tinted adhesive, so it's white. So you put this on, and then you put the flocking on. The flocking is just like powdery flakes that makes a beautiful snow. Nice and soft, very touchable. So I added some along the top here and there, and then I went back and added some iridescent glitter. On the side, I've got this little handle on top of a piece of chipboard that I covered with some fabric that was in my stash. And then the back I just used just a piece of the collection. So let me take you inside. I took advantage of all of the fussy cut elements in the collection to make tuck spots and pockets and all sorts of things. The inside front cover, I sort of pieced together a couple of things. This was on one of the pages, and there is a tag inside with this beautiful clock, a couple of little wooden animals there. And then here is another piece that you could add a photo to, so it still could be a mini album for photos. You could add a photo to the back and journal here, or add photos to both sides, whichever you want to do. But these were fussy cut out of the paper, and it made just a nice tuck spot. This was one of the fussy cut elements that I added to that pocket. So that goes in like that, and that goes in like that. So we still have the clock behind all of the cute little toys. This paper had the little hearts hanging on the paper, and I just cut into it to make a little tuck spot, and then took added some decorative paper onto some cardstock, and that is a great little tuck spot. And then these are hidden photo mat pages. So I took some white cardstock and just inked around the edges just to soften it a bit, and took whatever scraps I had that would fit for the top loading photo mats. Now this one, I just glued it down. It's not a flap, but it could be. I could have made it a flap, but I do have another photo mat in here that you could add. Boy, you could add a round photo to, and then add a smaller photo to that. Just love that wood grain. So here's a pocket I made. And I added this. It was from the fussy cut sheets. And then here is another scrap of paper. And that is another perfect spot to add photos or memorabilia or whatever you have. Here is the top loading hidden photo mat for that page. The pages, by the way, are about 4 and in this book, the pages are 4 by 4 because the paper was 8 by 8. That way I could get the most out of it. Now I just loved this bookshelf. It had the Snow Queen with a beautiful Christmas tree and some snowflakes in it. So I made that into a pocket and added what was the rest of this paper, actually, and made that just a nice little photo mat, and that goes right in there. Beautiful fairy tales, travels and adventure, Christmas Carol. There's another Christmas. The Nutcracker, orange fairy book, blue fairy book. Just pretty, very imaginative. So this page had a lot of different elements that you could fussy cut, but I didn't want to fussy cut. I just wanted to use that as a nice little scene with the beautiful fire, the mantle on the fireplace, a little owl wrapped up in a blanket on the rocking chair. I just thought that was pretty. So there is that. And then again, there is our little tuck spot with this gorgeous paper. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful imagery in this collection. So on this page again, I cut into some of the elements. Actually, I glued him. This was a scrap, and I glued that horse onto this wooden piece to make it look like it's a floor. And then I added these from the just some scraps I had. There is our photo mat there. And I kept that wood green background. Now there were some tags in the fussy cut sheet, and they were really pretty, so I just added these tags right there. Now on this page, so I fussy cut this. It was a page that had, I guess the rocking horse was on one side, and then this drum with that old car was over on that side. So I fussy cut that and made a pocket out of it. And here is just another photo mat to tuck in there, and another tag from the collection. And then on this page, it brings us back to Santa with the reindeer. I mean, that's just a very endearing picture. I took Santa's toy bag and glued it here to make a little tuck spot, so you could write a little note, and you could probably put a little photo on the back there if you wanted to. This same page had this cabin, and this is the top of the page. There was actually a window here. So I wanted to cover up the window, so we added this tree and this wood pile, and there was an owl there. Although in real life, I don't know an owl would be sitting that close to watching a squirrel, but we sort of hide it from sight with that tag. But that makes just a cute little tuck spot. You could still add a photo to this page if you wanted to, but I don't know. It'd be hard to cover that up. So that goes in there. As you see, I did put a little bit of silver foil paper just to sort of break up this, and because this was a smaller piece, it just sort of stretched the paper. And as we saw, there's the back cover, and there we go. So that is the first mini album I made using the Owl's House by Stamperia, this 8 by 8 paper collection. I've got several other projects coming up, so stay tuned. They're really fun. Oh, I was going to give you a sneak peek. So this is similar, but different. So I'll do a walkthrough on this in the next video, so don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notification so you can see all about this project. Thanks so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.